Hello and welcome back to PUCL's Draft League 2025 Week 6 with me, GigaSaurusGames. And this week I have my second match of the second half of the season in the purple pod, which forces me to bring my Corviknight to all matches. And we are playing against Spike. And if you happen to know, keen-eyed viewers might notice that I have some slightly different resolutions on my recording this week, and that is because I'm trying something to try and get the video recording to look a little bit better with how big the battle is on screen. We'll see how I feel about it when I'm done. But I have let my opponent know that I'm ready to go. So in the meantime, we're just going to go over the team. As you can see, my opponent's roster on screen here, and my opponent has a Roaring Moon. Actually, not the only Roaring Moon I'm going to be facing off against in this pod, because Claude 9 also has a Roaring Moon later on. But they actually have two purple mons. For the first and only time in the regular season, I am facing a team that has a choice of two mons to bring, either Weezing or Haunter. Now, Haunter isn't that good a Pokemon, and Kingambit's a pretty good answer to it, aside from Focus Blast. So I am expecting Weezing to come, probably because it does well against Haunter and okay against Mega Diancie, as well as pretty well against physical mons like Cinderace and Swampert. So I'm expecting it to come, but it doesn't necessarily have to. And then, other than that, I really don't actually have any ideas about what they're going to bring. I could see basically everything in that team coming. I'm expecting Tapu Koko to come, but I have been bringing a lot of Standing Shocks a lot, and I've also brought Swampert a couple times, once or twice. So maybe it doesn't come. Maybe they judge it helps me more than it helps them, because Standing Shocks can use electric moves better. And my opponent is online, so we will probably be getting ready to go here in a minute. But so the team that I've put together looks like this. So I got a Rotom Mow here. With Will-O-Wisp to handle. What was it? It's handling Iron Treads primarily, as well as it has electric and grass moves, so it'll also be handling Milotic, which is kind of a problem for a lot of my team. And then we have Kingambit with Swords Dance, as well as Booster Energy Standing Shocks, so once it comes in, it won't be leaving, it'll be in until it dies. And Mega Diancie, I'm actually going to trying something new. I'm going to bring Rock Polish to outspeed +1 Roaring Moon, Tapu Koko, Mega Pidgeot, as well as +1 Iron Treads. I'm going to see how that does against my opponent here. And with that all said, yep, looks good. We can get the battle underway. That's pretty loud, huh? I've been noticing in replay that a couple of my videos seemed a little loud on the music side, so I'm just gonna tone it down in OBS, see how that feels. Alright. So I thought Weezing would come, and I was correct. I expected Roaring Moon to come, and I was correct. Iron Treads does not surprise me. It's good against Mega Diancie, which is why I'm bringing Rock Polish. And then we've got Tapu Koko, Milotic, and Mega Pidgeot. Alright. Mega Pidgeot is something I can probably set up in front of. Corviknight is here, entirely handle Roaring Moon in this matchup. Swampert doesn't have a lot to do, actually. It's probably the Tapu Koko answer primarily. Standing Shocks also works for that. Iron Treads is here, so and so was Milotic, so Rotom is going to be important. But since I don't see anything that Swampert needs to handle, we're going to leave Swampert. I can set up rocks. I can also yawn. Alright, hello Mega Pidgeot. It makes sense as a lead. It's fast, it hits hard, it puts immediate pressure on me. I do like Swampert Alive for Tapu Koko, but I don't need it. Sandy Shocks also does the job. Wheezing is a bit of a concern. It does slow down Mega Dancey Sweep, as does Milotic. The rest of it, though, Mega Dancey you can kind of rip apart. Their Terra targets are Sinistro, which didn't come, and Wheezing. Alright. I like this. It means I get a yawn off and whatever comes in, and I guess it up rocks. I don't know what they're going to bring in here. If I were them, probably Milotic would be my idea, especially if it has Marvel Scale, then that's unfortunate. Or if it's running Flame Orb Marvel Scale, which I do kind of like in this matchup because I'm not running it. I don't have Intimidate outside of Hitmontop, and Hitmontop was not likely to come except maybe to handle Roaring Moon. My opponent is thinking very hard here about what to go into. I suppose it is somewhat true here that they don't have great answers to... Swampert isn't doing a lot outside Tapu Koko, but it's not like my opponent has great answers to Swampert either. I do think Wheezing is their best switch-in. That wasn't Milotic. So there we go. I would like Wheezing to fall asleep, but if it doesn't, that's fine. I can go ahead and get Rocks Up in any case. And I'll be back to full health after the next leftovers if Wheezing switches out. Looks like Swampert's doing pretty good job putting pressure on my opponent. I do feel like Mega Pidgeot probably should have just stayed and used Hurricane immediately, unless they're expecting to switch to Dancey, which does make a certain amount of sense from their point of view. From my point of view. Now if I go into Dancey and then go into Iron Treads freely, I believe they're running Booster Energy. Alright, get Rocks Up. It was Marvel Scale. Alright. Alright. We got a Milotic here. Swampert does not have any form of recovery outside of leftovers, so and this flip turn's not going to do much, so I'm just going to hard switch to Rotom. Rotom's main job here is Iron Treads, but also this Milotic. And with Rocks Up, that might be enough for a Rock Polish Dancey to break Iron Treads. So I'm okay with that outcome. We are going to Volt Switch. If it really wants to go on Iron Treads, I'm actually okay with that, because Rotom is my intended answer to Iron Treads. Other than that, I can Volt Switch freely. And Iron Treads does not want to switch into a Weak Storm. So I don't think Milotic wants to stay in here. If it does, that makes it makes it much easier for Mega Dancey to break it later. I believe I wanted about half to kill it with Moonblast, if I recall my calculator correctly. I suppose I could check while we are waiting. Mega Dancey. Okay. So, okay, no, I needed around a third, actually. Physically defensive Milotic takes 34 to 41% from Wall Breaker, Dancey, and Moonblast. So I would like it lower. I would like it lower than half. Now, if it tries to tank this Moonblast here, or this Volt Switch here, it does 38 to 44. The Leaf Storm is 70 to 82. I really don't think Spike wants to let Milotic take this hit, because I really do think Milotic is good against my team, and I think they know that. Sandy Shocks does about half. Okay, Sandy Shocks is half a Thunderbolt. That's what I was thinking of. Okay. What does Mega Dancy do to a Weezing? I really, if you saw my prep doc, I really did not have great ideas for handling Weezing. Physically defensive Weezing takes 61% from Power Gem. I really think that's just the best answer here. I'm not going to set Rock Polish right now. My Melodic is still has too much health. I'm just going to Mega and I'm just going to Power Gem. Iron Treads is the sole switch into Power Gem here. In which case I go right back to Rotom. Did I see Neutralizing Gas? I did not, so this Weezing is running Levitate. I thought it would, but there was a part of me that thought Neutralizing Gas might be interesting to bring against King Gambit to shut down Supreme Overlord, if Weezing was intended to handle King Gambit. Also, that Volt Switch did enough that I do expect Power Gem to kill here. Because I don't remember being heavily invested in Special Attack. Oh no, I am. It probably doesn't change much though. So I'm not running an offensive item. It's not like Weezing can do a ton in return, does about a third with Sludge Bomb. I don't want to take a Sludge Bomb, but I want to have the health instead of Mega Pidgeot later, but it's fine if I need to. Alright, it's only turn 5, but I like what's been happening so far. I'm putting good pressure on my opponent. Alright. Am I expecting a recover here? If I am, Moonblast doesn't kill, so there's no reason to stay in. Yeah, there's no reason to stay in. Just go back into Rotom. Yep. No, that's what I expected. But I can Volt Switch again. If my Melodic stays in, I... Let me think here. If my Melodic stays in, and I Volt Switch, what am I going into? I don't like my answers. You know what, I'm just gonna leave. I think they're gonna call my Volt Switch, stay in, and then I hit them with Leaf Storm. Which might have a chance to kill depending on the set they're running. I don't expect it to, but it will put Melodic very low. Oh. Man. That does make it much harder for me to handle Iron Treads later, unfortunately. I called Melodic staying in and hit the right button, I just missed. That is the problem with running Rotom forms. I'm not sure. I don't think any of its moves are guaranteed to hit. I'm gonna burn you. I think you're using Rapid Spin. I'm gonna burn you. So Milotic's at half health, and now it might die to a Moonblast after the self-rock damage and the burn. I was correct. Please land. Very good. And now I'm gonna click Pain Split. Expect to put me above half, or around half, if I live the incoming Ice Spinner, which I think I will after the burn. I hope I will after the burn. Yes, I did. Good. And now I hit Leaf Storm. Let's see, if they'd used Ice Spinner immediately, they would have KO'd. But I really thought they were going to use Rapid Spin, expecting me to be scared out by Ice Spinner. So that I am quite happy with how this has worked out. You know, Ironclad's gonna stay in here. It doesn't 2-hit KO from here after leftovers. And Ironclad's, well, Ironclad is now at a point where Mega Nancy can kill it with Earth Power if it gets with Earth Power, and it didn't have Photosynthesis and doesn't have Choice Scarf, so I do outspeed by default. So Iron Shreds is now killable by Mega Nancy, so I'm happy about that. I don't know if Iron Shreds is gonna stay in or not. It might go into Wheezing to try and absorb a Leaf Storm. But Wheezing doesn't have great recovery, so I'm kind of okay with that. Getting any damage in Wheezing is good. Alright, and there goes the spinner, so if Swampert gets rocks up, rocks are here to stay. Rotom does outspeed Milotic, so it is worth... Oh, I actually expected to do so. 288. So I do want to keep Rotom alive. Honestly, Milotic might come in here. If it does, I probably just Volt Switch, because I don't think Leaf Storm won't kill after -2. So I probably just, well, actually, Leaf Storm will do around 30%. Either it recovers and I can Pain Split the following turn, or it kills me, in which case it is now low enough that Mega Nancy can come in and kill it. You know what? I like that plan, actually. That feels like a good plan. Coco. Coco might well be carrying Grass Knot, so I do... Swampert's not a hard counter if Tapu Koko is carrying Grass Knot. I do need to be a little bit careful of that. Alright. Pidgeot came in. I like Rotom alive. It still outspeeds Milotic. Corviknight is the Roaring Moon answer. I don't love the idea of switching it in here. What was Kingambit handling? What is Kingambit ostensibly handling, aside from being the late game sweeper? Sinistra didn't come. Haunter didn't come. So I could go into Kingambit. I don't want to go into Diancie directly. Milotic still has too much health for Diancie to sweep. You know, I think King Gambit puts on enough pressure if I go into it. I'm gonna do that. So Mega Pidgeot's claim to fame is No Guard Hurricane, which is why I think Mega Nancy can sit up on it, but I don't want to sit up on it while Milotic still has hope, because I certainly won't like taking a No Guard Hurricane, and I could get confused. Alright, good. Maybe Mega Pidgeot gets Focus Blast. I don't actually know if it does or not. I should probably check this. Pidgeot. What does Pidgeot get as moves? It gets Heat Wave, I'm sure. And not in Gen 8, actually, but it probably did in earlier generations. Yeah, got it by Heat tutoring Generation 7. So if I stay in, I take a Heat Wave. If it stays in, I take a Heat Wave. I am fine with that. I thought I would take one. I did. Barely. King Game has done its job now. I don't know. Maybe it is. It worked as it functioned as a switch in, and it's putting down pressure. I don't need King Gambit for anything else. It's not an answer to Roaring. It was never meant to be an answer to Roaring Moon. It's not an answer to Milotic. Not an answer to Tapu Koko. Not really an answer to Weezing, other than just putting down some form of damage on it. And Weezing does get Pain Splits, so there is that. All right. I think you're recovering, and I am correct. Milotic is not allowed to be at high health. There we go. And now there is no switch into Power Gem, and Power Gem will kill from this range. The best switch into Power Gem is Roaring Moon and Koko. Weezing will get to it KO'd, kills Pidgeot, kills Milotic. Roaring Moon is probably their best switch in here. Forces me out, probably, because it almost certainly is Earthquake or Iron Head. That crit matter... Okay, so... I think I might have still killed the Moonblast even without the crit. Does half again as much, so 70 times 2/3 is... I'm just gonna use the calculator. 47%. It had 13%. 71 minus 47 plus 13. It had 37%. So Moonblast probably killed. Okay. Okay. I'm not trying it. I think it's gonna set up, but I wasn't sure. Power Gem does 60%. Oh, interesting. Gyro ball. That's fun tech. Alright. Here's the thing. From here, I think Sandy Shocks cleans up. Terra Ice, Earth Power. So actually from here, if Roaring Moon comes in again, I just Moon Blast it. I don't let it set up. No. That is my new plan. Because Roaring Moon setting up is the scariest thing remaining at this point. And then I can save the Rock Polish tech for a later match. If Megan... Let's see. Coco comes in. I go into Rotom. If Pidgeot comes in... Let me think here. Let's check the Sandy Shocks roll. Terra Ice, Terra Blast against a Roaring Moon. I don't actually kill yet. So I think Mega Dancy Alive isn't terrible. But I can't set up. Everything remaining is faster. To this point, it's better as a sack. I'm gonna Rock Polish if I can, but I expected that. We're just gonna do it. We're just gonna go straight. I don't need to. And I like my technique for Tapu Koko still. Does it still win? My opponent still has win conditions. That full health Roaring Moon is still a concern. I still don't know what its set is. It's probably Dragon Dance. It just wasn't running booster energy. Dragon Dance, Earthquake. I don't know, and then it depends what other moves it's running. Corviknight might be able to counter anyway. But I don't know. Okay, hang on. How much does Earth Power do against Kogo? Earth Power kills. Never mind. I'm gonna Terra Blast in case Roaring Moon tries to come in here. Roaring Moon is the biggest problem remaining. I don't think my opponent's quite correct on that. This won't kill. Oh, but neither did they. Alright. Now it's a good game. If they went for Dragon Dance there, it was winnable. They still had a win con. But they just tried to go for the kill. And they did not hit hard enough. Ah, okay. I see. Okay, so as I said, I was worried about Roaring Moon setting up Dragon Dance and winning that way. Oh, it was banded. I didn't even look at the damn... Okay, I'm actually a little surprised I lived abandoned Fire Fang. What did Grass Knot do to Swampert? I never actually did that calc. If Grass Knot would do... okay. It doesn't kill. Earthquake kills in return, probably. Did I even have... I feel like I might even had some... Okay. Oh, and I was especially defensive. Oh. I actually forgot that I was running special defensive Swampert. I think because of Coco was the reason. So I was actually going to be fine there, even if it. I think I might even live a modest Grass Knot. I didn't do that calc, but had Dragon Dance. Yeah, I live even a modest Grass Knot. Apparently they were doing... Okay, apparently Spike was doing even more calcs than I was. To know that. Yeah, I just had EQ. Yeah. Okay, yep, makes sense. I did think about bringing him on top, but it was only for Roaring Moon. I didn't like it for anything else. I didn't like it for anything else, so I wanted to... I thought other Mons had better matchups, like the Sandy Shocks that cleaned up late game. But yeah, so the game plan held together. That's a +4 differential, and I am now 5-1, and I believe that virtually guarantees. Yep, exactly. It virtually guarantees playoffs. And with that being said, then. My remaining matches worry me a little bit less now because I at least won't be the Pittsburgh Steelers of PDL 9. And so, with all that being said, I actually have other things to do today. So good game to my opponent, good game to Spike, good game to... I hope everyone enjoyed watching. And until next time, this has been GigaSaurusGames, signing out. Bye.